Nigeria's 5 billion naira online retail industry is expected to grow at 15% or more over the next 5 years. Africa is gradually becoming an investment target of many e-commerce startup incubators and venture capitalists. I'm now joined in the studios by the co-founders of online retailer Jumia, Raphael Afedo and Tunde Kende. Thank you both for joining us, and congratulations on about making a year of experiencing a year of online retail in Nigeria. Of course, like I mentioned earlier, it seems to be an interesting space, growing. 5 billion naira is what is being estimated as the market size right now. I want to start with you, Raphael. Your thoughts on where this market is headed with respect to online retail?
I think when you look at Nigeria, you just don't have offline retail, okay, so no organized retail, and you have people with the ability to pay for stuff. So at the end of the day, I think online retail is here to leapfrog all of this and be able to take the product to the customer wherever they are, whether it's in Maiduguri or whatnot. So I think it's going to bode very well for the economy of Nigeria.
Right, so I think you make an interesting point. We do not have organized offline retail, if you like, in Nigeria, and that perhaps is opening up the opportunity there. But talk to us today about your performance so far. Over the last 1 year, what has been your experience?
So over the last 1 year, it's been a very interesting ride for us. I think we launched in June of last year, and since then now we are the number 4th ranked site in the country, local content site.
Right.
I think when you compare us to other online retailers, we are at least 5 to 6 times bigger in terms of traffic than any other online retailer. And interestingly, Nigerians are really responding to e-commerce. As Raphael said, we've gotten orders from across the entire country, from Kano to Kaduna to the Southeast, etc. So I think e-commerce is here to stay, and just offering options to Nigerians means that they would patronize people like us.
But given the logistic issues in Nigeria, it must be a huge challenge supplying to places like Kano, northern Nigeria. Of course, we have challenges, security challenges there now. So how are you coping with that?
So what we've done is we've set up physical infrastructure in key locations across the country. So we're in Lagos, we're in Abuja, we're in Port Harcourt, but we're also physically in Kaduna, in Warri and Benin, and we've partnered with third-party logistics providers to reach the entire country. So we're the first e-commerce country in Nigeria to partner with DHL to allow us to reach the entire nation.
Right. Okay, so what can you tell us? I know you're a private company, but what can you tell us about your performance so far? I can see that you're making huge investments. Of course, you've got some useful capital from some venture capitalists recently. So tell us about how well you're doing.
And I think we're seeing about 20 to 30% month-on-month growth. That gives you an idea of how people are actually adopting the product. And I think, in spite of all these challenges that Tunde just mentioned, I mean, if we approach it with a mindset of like the challenges also represent opportunity, then these challenges are actually scalable. I mean, who would have thought when we started that would be in like about 6 different states today?
Right.
I mean, and it's just amazing. So a lot of it's really growth today is really just sort of hampered by our own ability to just manage the growth. Really, I mean, the market has just been phenomenal in adopting
What type of
product.
growth are you anticipating?
So we're actually chatting before this. I think in my mind, I estimate that this market will double, most likely year on year, at least for the next 2-3 years. I think over time, of course, it will taper down. But as Raphael mentioned, there's really no real offline organized retail in the country. Right now, we're offering Nigerians, a selection of 45,000 products or more, nationwide delivery, convenience at your doorstep. And just given how tough it is to buy, why would I hop into traffic for 2 hours when I can press a button on Jumia and get what I want in Lagos next day across the country within 5 working days?
Right.
So I expect the market to double, and I expect Jumia to grow according to the market.
Okay, so the investment case is there, the opportunity is there. Talk to us about the access, though. The issue of the fact that, yes, we know that Nigeria has well over 100 million phone lines, but online retail is not something that is taking off on the mobile phones just yet. So how are you dealing with that challenge? The fact that even though so many people have phone lines, you can't use that platform to sell your products.
Okay, so we've thought very creatively about this problem, and we've tried to find solutions accordingly. I mean, so today we have a 100-person sales force that physically knocks on doors and visits offices and helps people actually place orders, goes to schools, campus ambassadors. We have about 80 people strong customer service call center where people can actually call in and orders are placed for them. And beyond that, we also realize that we're able to reach people who already have access to desktops and laptops are able to place orders. And as we reach that population, they also check products on their phones, but they use their desktops or laptops to place orders more. Right. But we believe that over time, tablet adoption will increase, and more people will still be able to use mobile devices to place orders online. We also have a platform which is actually tailored for the mobile device, so people are able to place orders with that too.
Your thoughts about the growth of the tablets in Nigeria, because it seems that that's where strategically you're going. You're hoping that you'll see that growth. Your thoughts about the adoption of tablets in Nigeria right now?
So I think in general, tablets and smartphones are going to keep getting accessed by more and more Nigerians over time. What we're seeing is you don't always need to spend on a fancy, expensive tablet. There's now more value for money tablets and phones that are coming into the market, the techno phones, etc. I think for us, what we're doing is really trying to lead education on e-commerce across the entire country. So we have our sales force, but also working directly with brands like Nokia, like Samsung, like BlackBerry to educate customers on how their devices work. Also working with partners like DHL, working with the banks. So we see Jumia as the starting point for organized retail in general, not just e-commerce.
But what about, how do you, I just mentioned the issues of the logistics in Nigeria, but yet I imagine that you're looking to compete with the regular retailers in terms of price. How do you achieve that?
So what we're doing is we're working directly with brands to source their goods. So we would go, so not through retailers. So we'd talk to Ralph Lauren, or we talk to Nokia or with BlackBerry and say, look, how can we source goods from you? Of course, at the correct terms, at the correct prices, and then we now pass on the value we get to the customer. What we want for customers today is the price should not be a factor that prevents you from shopping on Jumia. The same price you'd get offline, you get on Jumia. What we're offering you really is wide assortment, largest assortment in the country, fantastic convenience, when you want it, all the time.
Right, of course, this is venture, if you like. 1 year into it so far. And many people talk about the challenge of starting businesses in Nigeria. I want to just get your perspective on that. It seems to be a tough terrain, given the infrastructure issues that we have, power, the roads, really weak transport infrastructure. How are you dealing with all of that?
So we build a lot of things ourselves. I mean, we have for e-commerce, definitely the biggest delivery infrastructure. Okay, today, I mean, with a fleet of over 100 bikes and cars that actually help us take products to the market. It's also the mindset with which we approach the market. We approach the market with a very long-term mindset. So we went ahead and raised significant pools of capital to enable us not worry too much about money. And also, like, we've built a culture around the company where no is never an answer, and we just go out and try to solve the problem, irrespective of what the problem is. So if the internet is down, we make phone calls to customers with our mobile phones. Right. We've built all this redundant infrastructure to enable us just deal with the challenges the market actually presents us.
I guess you really have to get ready for this type of challenges in this market. But let's talk about the potential flow of investments. Like I mentioned earlier, you have received 25 million. Well, the entire Jumia franchise in Africa has received about $25 million from Summit Partners, a US PE firm. How much money do you anticipate will be flowing to Africa in this space?
So I anticipate a lot. So we've also got an investment from JP Morgan, from Rocket Internet, from Millicom. Right. I think that due to the fact that, one, we all know how large the population is, but in Nigeria, largest population in Africa, and the fact that there's no organized retail, and it doesn't matter where you are in the world, you're always going to need a shirt, some phones, some shoes. So people are buying from somewhere, but no one is providing them that consistent quality assortment. So I think retail investment will keep coming. I think why investments coming into Jumia is because we have the best team. We've hired quality Nigerians from across the country and also from abroad. Also have the largest delivery infrastructure, largest assortment base. So we're getting most of that capital. But I think over time, other smaller ventures will begin to see capital in niche areas of retail. So I expect a lot of flows to keep coming.
So you expect niche retailers, online retailers to emerge as well?
Correct.
All right, okay. Let's talk a bit about your customers though, and how you're targeting, who you're targeting. I mean, many people anticipate that, especially in a market like Nigeria, a developing country, it's really the affluent that will shop online. Has that been your experience?
No, that hasn't been our experience, actually. I mean, like I mentioned earlier, we have a field sales team that also are sort of campus ambassadors. So we actually are in the universities. We're also out there just with meeting people on the streets who they probably do have access to laptops and computers, but not as connected as the person who's actually on the internet all the time. And they talk to these people, and these people actually buy, and we call them and deliver to them. We also have a phenomenal call center, which is able to call, people are able to call in, and they sell to the people, okay? And beyond that, I mean, you just have people who are in the offices also buying online. So it's just like that broad array of people actually shopping on the site.
The last question would be on the subject of venture capital in Nigeria and how that concept is developing. Of course, a lot of these funds are coming from offshore, but of course we do have some local venture capitalists as well. So your thoughts on the concept of businesses using venture capital to grow in Nigeria?
So no, I think as you mentioned, there are a few venture capital firms begin to come into this space. I think that we'll keep seeing more and more as a few things happen. One is we need, I guess, more entrepreneurs with bankable business plans.
Right.
And I think the market is here. So all they're looking for is your company worth investing in, and then they'll pour in capital. I think it's also important that people like us succeed and do well in terms of revenue or customers, because then that gives confidence to other capital to come in.
All right, well, congratulations on 1 year in Nigeria and best wishes as you move ahead. I have the co-founders of Jumia Nigeria, online retailers, talking us through their experience in Sub-Saharan Africa's second largest economy.